Hello and welcome to our Granny Triangle Beginners Tutorial. For the tools we'll be using: a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, a size G crochet hook, which is a 4.00 millimeter. The yarn that I am using, I have Vanna's Choice from Lion's brand in the color Fern. Michael's Impeccable in the color Butterscotch. And Red Heart Super Saver in the color White. Before we begin our tutorial, I want to remind you to pull out some yarn from your skein so that you can have an even tension to make all your stitches look uniform in size and appearance. And we will be starting with a magic circle, so we'll need about an 8-inch tail. To start with our magic circle, let's place our yarn with our tail down here by us. Our working yarn is in front of us, or ahead of us right here. We're going to take our yarn and go between our fingers, and we're going to wrap it and create like an X. Take your hook and go under and pull up a loop, and then come over and pull another loop through the loop, and then we'll tighten it up as so. If you have it where your yarn is inside your circle, go ahead and pull it out. Let's start our tutorial. We're going to chain 3. To chain, we want to take the yarn, go over and twist the hook as we bring it through that loop that was on our hook. Yarn over, number 2, yarn over, and number 3. The chain 3 will count as 1 double crochet because of the height and the thickness. We're going to be adding 2 double crochets into our circle. Yarn over, take the hook through the circle and pull back the yarn to create a loop. Yarn over through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over through 2 loops on the hook. That is 1 double crochet. Let's make another one. Yarn over, the hook goes through the circle, it pulls up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Now, if you've been following me through the first 3 videos in this series, you'll notice that we always chain 2. Well, for this triangle, we'll be doing a different amount of chains throughout the making of this triangle. So, for the very first row, we have the 1 granny, and this will help determine our shape and place our corners in as well. So we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 4 will be used to create our corner, because as a triangle is shaped like this, our grannies has to accommodate. Continuing on, we're going to add 3 double crochets into our ring. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we have 2 and we have our chain 4. Let's chain 4 one more time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to go ahead and add 3 more grannies. 1, 2, 3. Now let's close our circle. Pull your tail out, pinch the bottom of your stitches, and pull. You can see a beginning of our shape already. To close off this, we are going to do a treble. In order to do a treble, we wrap the yarn around our hook 2 times. So place your finger on top of the loop that's on your hook and wrap it once and wrap it twice. Okay, and at the top of our chain 3, we're going to place our hook into the center of that chain and draw up a loop. We now have 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. This treble stitch will give us the same height as the chain 4. Let's go to our next row. So to build up, do you remember from the other videos? If you haven't seen them, that's quite all right. But for those who have, do you remember? Well, I'm going to tell you right now what we're going to do. We're going to chain 3. So yarn over, bring the hook through the loop. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. You'll notice that as we create this, we have the 1 for 3 different sides. That means we have 3 separate corners. So this row will all be double grannies. A granny corner always has 2 sets of 3 double crochets with a series of chains between them. So our chain 3 does count as our double crochet. Let's add on. We will go over that treble. We have 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets. Now because we chain 4, we will be chaining 4 in all corners throughout this whole triangle. So let's chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in our same space, we're going to add 3 more double crochets. So that's our second granny to make our corner. Moving on, we're going to chain 2 in between our corners. 1 and 2. For our next corner that will have the 2 grannies, we're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 4, and 3 double crochets. So I've almost completed my first granny. Chain 4, and here's our second granny for our corner. So I'll place it this way so you can kind of see the shaping already. Chain 2, 1, 2. So in our final chain 4 space, we're going to add our last granny corner for this row. That's 3 double crochets, and a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 double crochets in that same space. And to finish this row, we're going to chain 1, find the third chain, 1, 2, 3, insert it into the center, draw up a loop, and take that loop and go through the other loop that was on the hook. And we're going to cut our yarn with the tail. And pull the yarn through the hole and tighten it. Okay, pull on it a little, make it all fit where it's supposed to go. And here is the first 2 rows of our triangle. Before moving on to our next row and color, let's take care of our tails that we need to weave in. Place your yarn between your 4 fingers, bring your needle up from the bottom, pinch it over your needle, and then work the folded yarn through the eye and pull it through. My yarn is coming out from this direction, so we want to keep going in that direction to make sure that our tail does not come out from our stitches. So I'm going through the center of the bottom of the double crochets. I'm going to make one more round on each one of these for the 3. If you choose to go around again, you can. That would be fine. Okay, and you can pull it even tighter. And then I'm going to weave it in. Okay, now to weave back, you want to skip over that one yarn and go under and then go over one and under and come through to the other side. Okay, and now our magic circle is now secured and it will not come apart. We'll save this one for after we get the next color on and secured. The next color we'll be using is yellow. So, as before, let's pull some out of our skein and we're going to place a slip knot on our hook. Wrap it around your finger, take your hook and go under and pull up a loop, and then take your finger out of the loop and tighten it, and then tighten it onto your hook. And we have our slip knot. We can start in any corner. So I'm going to pick this corner here. So I'm going to take the working yarn and go through my fingers and then pick up, make a loop, and come through the loop on the hook and tighten it up. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. To make this corner in yellow, we're going to add 2 more grannies with a chain 4 in between. So here we have our 2 double crochets and our chain 3, which pretends to be a double crochet. Now we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the same space we're going to add 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, 1, 2. In our next chain 2 space, we're going to add 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. You'll notice that as we add our corners on, we're also increasing. So now we're at our corner again. Here we have 2, so we're going to add 2 into that corner. Here's the first granny, and we've done 1, 2, 3 double crochets. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3 double crochets again for the other side to make that corner go the different direction. All right. Can you see our granny turn triangle on us? Chain 2, and in our open space here we have our tail from our first one. I'm just going to go over it. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. For the rest of this row, go ahead and do your corner, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and I'll meet you there. Remember to chain 4 in your corner. This is what I have so far, and I'm sure yours looks just like mine. Let's go ahead and complete this row. We're going to do a half double crochet. So yarn over, place your finger on that loop, count up to the third chain, draw up a loop, and then have the yarn go through all 3. And then chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. In this same space, going over the half double crochet, place 2 double crochets. The chain 3 will count as a double crochet for the beginning of this row. Chain 2. In our corner space, you can tell it's our corner because we have 2 grannies that we created from the previous row. Go ahead and place our granny here. There's 1, 2, and 3. The reason why I keep calling these 3 double crochets a granny is because the name is granny. Granny square, granny triangle, granny rectangle, all part of our series. And there's more to come as well. All kinds of different shapes. Circles, hexagon, octagon, pentagon. I hope you join me with all of them. So now with our corner, we chain 4, 3, and 4. Now let's do the other side of our corner in the same space. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. 1, 2. All right, I'm going to leave the rest to you. Go ahead and go around our triangle. Remember to chain 2 for the singles, and inside the triangle's corner to chain 4. As we complete our second row of the color yellow, I'm going to show you how to finish this particular color off. I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to count up 3 chains, and in the top of that chain, let's place a slip stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop, and then take that same loop and go through the loop that was on your hook. Let's go ahead and cut our yarn and pull it through. And go ahead and stretch it out just a little bit. It will ease itself. What it does is it helps bring those stitches into the locations of where it's supposed to be at. In this row, you want to sew in or weave in your colors. Take the white and go through the corner. Take the yellow, go through the corner, and take this yellow, come down, and work your way back to this corner and weave those in. And I will show you how to finish this block. Let me quickly remind you of how we're going to do the weaving in. We want to bring it down and then go through the center stitches. I choose the corner blocks because there's more yarn to help hold the stitches in. So bring our yarn through and stretch it out just a little bit. Go over the first stitch and go through the center of those stitches again. Stretch it out, go over the first stitch, and then into the center of those stitches. Okay. And there we have one woven in. I still have 2 more. I'll see you in a second. Doesn't our triangle look nice? We're going to be going on to our next color, which is green. We're going to do just 1 row of it. So let's go ahead and add a slip knot to our yarn. Remember to have our tail. We're going to wrap it around our finger, and if you want to do it by finger you can. Sometimes it's easier. And then tighten the loop on your hook. Remember to pull the yarn from your skein to make it easier. And I know in this video I have not reminded you as to why we have such a long tail, because when we sew with our tapestry needle, we want to make sure that we have enough to weave in and out 3 or 4 times without it not having enough for the needle to come through all the way. So this is the reason why we have long tails. Securing your end is very important, and all the hard work you put into it, you don't want to lose it. So let's find a corner. I'm going to use the one up top here. Let me tighten that on my hook a little bit better. I'm going to go through the center. I'm going to draw up a loop and go through that loop that's on my hook. And chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Remember, in our corner we have to chain 4 after we do our first granny or 3 double crochets. So here we have our first set of our granny. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in our same space, now I hope I don't sound like a repeated broken record to you. But I hope you're enjoying making this. I find it very fun to do. So after our 3, we're going to be moving on to the chain 2 space. So we're going to chain 2, and in that chain 2 space we're going to place our 3 double crochets, and chain 2. You notice how our side is getting longer and longer? I love doing grannies, and they're so simple. I hope you're feeling that they're simple for you too. In our next chain 2 space, we want to do 3 double crochets, chain 2. We got one more chain 2 space. There's 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. We're going to chain 2. We're here at our corner. So in our corner, 3 double crochets, chain 4, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, my finger slipped. Okay, finger on the loop, yarn over, in the hook, draw through 2, draw through 2. Sometimes I even mess up quite a bit. Let me make sure I didn't put 4 on here this time. Oh, good. Okay, so for our last row here, we did the 2 grannies with the chain 4, and then along the side we chain 2, and then in the corner chain 4 with the 2 grannies. Continue around, and I will meet you here and at the end and show you how to finish it off. My triangle's getting too big for the camera screen. So here I am at the end of this row. Let's finish it off. Chain 1, and at the top of the chain 3, let's do our slip stitch. Pull up a loop and take that same loop and through the loop that was on your hook. And we're going to cut us a tail and pull the yarn through and tighten it down. Okay, and as before, we want to stretch it out just a little bit so that everything will ease and set themselves into place. And here we have our completed triangle. I hope you learned something from this, and I also hope that you've been following me on the other Granny series of the different shapes that we can be using. This triangle can be used to make a large hexagon later in a crocheted afghan or something of that nature. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you join me in another one of the Granny beginning crochet tutorial series that I have here on YouTube. And I thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you're learning a lot from what I have to offer in crochet. Have a great day.